Welcome to the Wisdom That Breathes channel. Across all our platforms, we try to share wisdom which is relevant and accessible to everyone. But on this particular platform, we go deeper into some of the ancient principles found within the scriptures. If you find some of the terminology difficult or inaccessible, then go over to our Keshava Swami YouTube channel where you'll be able to find other content which is perhaps more relatable. Thank you and enjoy the wisdom that breathes.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we discuss today on the theme of the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam in our series of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Srila Sanatana Goswami Pad receives a copy of the Srimad Bhagavatam from a divine personality who appears in front of him in his house, in his bhajan kutir. And at that time, as soon as he receives this Srimad Bhagavatam, he expresses his prayers to the Srimad Bhagavatam. And he says, Madeka bandho mat sangi mat guru mat mahadhana mat nistaraka mahabhagya madananda namostute. He says, this Srimad Bhagavatam is my only real friend. Mat bandho. The Srimad Bhagavatam is my only real associate. Mat sangi. Madek bandho mat sangi. Mat guru. Srimad Bhagavatam is my only spiritual master. Mat mahadhana. This Bhagavatam is my real wealth. Mat nistaraka. Srimad Bhagavatam is my real ultimate deliverer. Mahabhagya. Srimad Bhagavatam is my real fortune. And Srimad Bhagavatam is my real ecstasy and joy. Madananda namostute. I offer my respectful obeisances to the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is known as Grantha-avatar, the Supreme Lord who has appeared and manifested in the form of this transcendental sound vibration. Today we will discuss 4 things which we attain from the Srimad Bhagavatam and 4 things which we can avoid in the association or by receiving the mercy and the power and the grace of Srimad Bhagavatam. The first thing we attain by coming in contact with the Srimad Bhagavatam is the association of devotees. As Rupa Goswami Pad says, that Srimad Bhagavata Arthanam Aswadyai Rasikaisaha Sajati Ashye Snigdhe Sadhu Sanga Satovare. The Srimad Bhagavatam can only be understood in the association of devotees. Sajati yashaye snigdhe, in the association of like-minded devotees who are more advanced than us, swatovare. And therefore, as soon as we come in contact with the Srimad Bhagavatam, the sound vibration, the book Bhagavatam, the person's Bhagavatam automatically follow. They are just around. You cannot have the sun rays without ultimately coming in contact with the sun. So therefore, association of devotees is a very, very important element which we receive by the grace of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Punascha bhuyad bhagavati ananta rati prasangascha ashriyeshu mahatsuyamyam upayami srishtim maitrastu sarvatra namo dvijebhyah. Parikshit Maharaj, as he is praying to all the sages, he is expressing his heart's desire that for some reason, if I have to take birth again, then please offer me these three boons or benedictions. First, he says, may I develop unlimited attraction towards Krishna. Krishna is all attractive, but currently my attraction is towards material things. May that attraction change, and may I be spontaneously attracted towards Krishna. Second, this attraction towards Krishna can only manifest in the strong association of devotees. So please give me that association of devotees. Rati prasangascha tad ashrayeshu, and the shelter of such devotees. When we come and start serving the devotees, and when we are blessed by the devotees, by the grace of the devotees, a very miraculous thing manifests. Deep desire to share this wonderful fortune of the sadhu sangha, of Krishna katha, of Krishna bhakti, of Krishna prema, with conditioned souls manifests within the heart. That is known as compassion. Mahatsuyamyam upayami srishtim maitrastu sarvatra namo dvijebhyah. And may I get the empowerment to share the message of the Srimad Bhagavatam with the conditioned souls. Parikshit Maharaj is on the verge of death. He has only 7 days and 7 nights. But he is offering these prayers. And Srila Prabhupada says, when we come in front of the deities, these are the prayers we should be offering. To have attraction towards the Lord, to have ultimate association of the devotees, and to give access to the conditioned souls, to that association, and to give them an opportunity to develop their attraction for Krishna. Yesham samsmaranat pumsam sadyo shuddhyanti vaigrahaha kim punar darshana sparsha pada shaucha asanadibhi. When Parikshit Maharaj sees that beyond all the sages who have manifested there to support him and help him, the great sage Shukadeva Goswami walks in. He offers him a seat of honor. And when Shukadeva Goswami is seated, then Maharaj Parikshit offers this prayer. He washes the lotus feet of Shukadeva Goswami and he says, Yesham samsmaranat pumsam. Simply by remembering great souls like you, sadhyo, instantly, shuddhyanti vaigrahaha, all our houses get purified. Kim punar darshana sparsha, what to speak of having darshan of you and touching your divine form. Pada shaucha asanadibhihi, and now I am washing your lotus feet and accepting that charanamrita upon my head. I am sure millions and millions of my forefathers will also be delivered by this act just by your association, as you are carrying the Srimad Bhagavatam with you. Api me Bhagavan Prita Krishna Pandu Sata Priya Paitra Sat Sevya Prityartham Yat Gotra Syatta Bandhava. And then Maharaj Parikshit says, this benediction of having your association at this moment when I am faced with death, when I need the association of a Bhagavat like you, has not happened because of my qualification. I consider myself highly unqualified, but I have only one good quality, that I am the grandson of the Pandavas. And Krishna loves the Pandavas. And because of Krishna's deep love for the Pandavas, Krishna keeps a track of all the family members of the Pandavas and what those family members need at the most crucial moments in their lives. Therefore, because of Krishna's love for Yudhishthir, Krishna's love for Bhima, Krishna's love for Arjuna and the other Pandava family members, Krishna has sent you, O Shukadeva Goswami, to me when I need your association the most. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, people are in anxiety. How can I assist and support and serve my family in the best possible way? And Prabhupada says, the best way you can serve your family members is by becoming a sincere devotee of Lord Krishna, by becoming a sincere student of the Srimad Bhagavatam, a sincere servant of the person Bhagavatam. Therefore, when someone becomes a devotee of Krishna, not only the immediate family members, but several generations of family members get that benefit because of Krishna's love for his devotees. When I joined ISKCON, my family was disturbed and they were not, very convinced of what I am doing. And when anyone would ask them, where is your son? They would say, he's in Mumbai. And then they would say, what is he doing? He would say, they're in Mumbai. But he must be doing something. He's in Mumbai. So then one of my cousins, he was going through the television channel in 95, 96, and they used to show Atma serial on Sony TV, Hindi lectures. So he saw my face. He recognized me and called my mother and said, I see someone on TV, he resembles our cousin, your son. But he has changed. He looks different. Hairstyle is totally different. Is he the same guy? And my mother said, yeah, he's the same guy. Then my cousin got excited. He said, at least one member in the family is doing so much of pious activity to deliver all of us. We want to hear from him the Bhagavad Gita. Let's organize a satsang for the family. So my mother got bewildered that she never thought there will be demand in the family. So then we organized a satsang and I took one more devotee with me. It's difficult to preach to family members. So you need a neutral party. So this devotee gave a very nice lecture and he concluded the lecture by pointing to me and saying that, see, Gauranga Prabhu has now become Krishna's devotee, and because of that, all of you sitting here in this hall will all go to Vaikuntha. And not only you, 21 generations, Trisaptivi Pita Puta Pitrivi Satenaga, 7th canto describes 21 generations will go back to Godhead, will go to Vaikuntha. Everybody was smiling, laughing. And after the lecture, one cousin came up to me and he said, continue chanting. And then he said, if you any time have any problem, just let me know. The whole family is there to support you. The best news is you continue and we continue. But still we get the benefit. Nothing can be better than that. So, Srila Prabhupada says, that's the best benefit you can give to family. Connect with the Bhagavatam, connect with the person Bhagavatam, and serve the association of devotees. Dhruv Maharaj says, when he sees the Lord in front of him, Prishni Garbha, is standing right in front of Dhruva, and Dhruva at the age of 5 is unable to speak because he is stunned with ecstasy. Lord Vishnu places his shank on Dhruva Maharaj's forehead, and Dhruva Maharaj immediately is filled with the empowerment to glorify the Lord. And immediately Dhruva Maharaj starts speaking. Yonta pravishya mama vachamimam prasuktam sanjivayat akhila shakti dharasvadhamna. My dear Lord, you can enter into each and every limb of my body and enliven my senses and empower me to glorify you. Anyam sahasta charana shravanatvagadin pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. And whatever service any devotee can possibly do is not the result of one's past life skill. It is only when the Lord's will aligns with our will, and when we submit to the Lord with sincerity, then we get empowered. And therefore I offer my obeisances unto you. Dhruva Maharaj continues and he says, my dear Lord, people consider their greatest fortune to have your darshan. I already have your darshan, but I still consider a greater fortune than your darshan to be something else. And he says, Bhaktim moho pravahatam tvai me prasango yenonjasam uru bhagavad bhavabdhim. He says, my dear Lord, I was in the forest. I got the association of Narad Muni. But after that, I did not get the association of the devotees. Bhaktim moho prabhatam tvai me prasango. May I get the association of devotees by which the river of the flow of bhakti can manifest within my heart. Bhuyat ananta mahatam amalashayanam. Only in that association the material desires can subside and the heart can get purified. Sudamaji, he receives great benedictions from Krishna. When he reaches his home, he sees that he has become inundated with prosperity. Many devotees love they love the Sudama pastime because they think Sudama pastime is rags to riches. Sudama went to Krishna with nothing. When he came back, he became a billionaire. So Krishna Bhakti works. You go to Krishna, you won't come back empty-handed. But Sridhar Swami says, actually the reason Krishna made Sudama billionaire was because Krishna detected within Sudamaji one fault. What was that? Pride. Sudama had become proud of what? His poverty. Sudama thought, I am the number one poor. No one is poorer than me. So pride can come in various funny flavors, including pride in one's poverty. So Krishna thought the only way I can make Sudama humble is by making him billionaire and giving him wealth. Now hearing this, you may think, let me also pray to the Lord. Please make me humble like Sudama. But Krishna will make us humble based on where we need to become humble. So Sudamaji in his prayers, after he sees all that opulence, he is bewildered. How the Lord has given me all this wealth. And then he says, actually, this is not my real desire. My real desire, my dear Lord, is Tasyaiva me sauhrida sakhya maitri dasyam punar janmani janmani syat mahanubhavena gunalayena vishajyatastat purusha prasanga. My dear Lord, I pray to you to offer me what I consider to be the greatest fortune of my life, the association of devotees. In that association, may I not become inimical towards those devotees, skeptical towards those devotees, critical towards those devotees, but sauhrida. May the devotees become my best well-wishers. May I become their well-wishers. Sakhya. May I develop intimate friendships with the devotees. Sauhrida Sakhya Maitri. May I develop congenial relationships with the devotees. Dasyam Punar. May I become servant of those devotees. Janmani Syat. Life after life. What kind of devotees? Mahanubhavena gunalayena. Devotees whose hearts are filled with divine qualities. Vishajyatas tat purusha prasanga. And in that association, may I become deeply attached to those devotees. That's my desire, my dear Lord. And therefore, the Sudamaji's prayer is very important because it is the association of devotees which attracts us to Krishna. Then various interactions happen in the same association. Because of those interactions, sometimes we become internally skeptical about the same association. Association is the one which creates faith in our heart, Adav Shraddha in Krishna and Krishna consciousness. But ironically, many times it is that association or dealings with that association which becomes the cause of our diminishing faith in Krishna consciousness. And one may feel like leaving that association, staying away from association, keeping one's distance from that association. This technically is known as aparadha. Radha means satisfaction. Aparadha means diminishing satisfaction. And the diminishing satisfaction happens as a result of internally losing faith and trust in the devotees while still maintaining the external formality of being cordial with the devotees for social reasons. Socially we are cordial, devotionally we become agnostic and skeptical about the devotees. That's a deadly combination where gradually our faith goes on diminishing. So therefore, this prayer is very important where our Sudamaji is saying that may I develop Sauhrida, Sakhya, Maitri towards the devotees on a regular basis. There was this devotee in one of the temples, and then he kind of felt that he has had enough association and it's too strict, too difficult, too tough. I should leave this association. So he was a pujari in that temple and he thought, I am missing my old habits. And one of the habits he was attached to was surfing in the ocean. He thought, let me go out surfing. Forget this association. So he left the temple without telling anybody, took his surfboard, went to the ocean and started surfing. And thought, I am liberated. Nobody is there to check me. And as he was surfing in the ocean, suddenly he saw a shark from a distance. And the shark was coming gradually towards him. And he was thinking, my God, I have been surfing for so long before joining ISKCON. I never had any problem. But the day I leave the association and come here, the shark is coming towards me. Immediately he started chanting the holy names. Then he realized this is not working. So he started chanting Narsing Arti. Because he knew in emergency what buttons to press. All the mantras he knew he chanted, but the shark continued coming near. Finally, this devotee prayed, "My dear Lord, I made a big mistake by leaving you, by leaving your seva. I promise you that if you allow me to survive this attack by the shark, from here I will go straight to your temple. I will never leave you ever. Promise. Just protect me from this shark." The shark came nearby, looked at him, decided to do fasting. Did a parikrama and left. This devotee came running back to the temple. The president asked him, "I didn't see you. Where were you?" He says, No, I was around." "No, but I didn't see you." He said, "Don't worry, you will always see me now." So when we try to escape the association of the Bhagavatas, Krishna will ensure that we can not leave that Bhagavatam and the Bhagavatas, because that is the greatest treasure we can ever receive in the human form of life. Sarvabhauma upadeshe chadirajavesh ekale vaishnava veshe korila pravesh. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was again and again rejecting Prataprudra Maharaj, Prataprudra Maharaj was feeling extremely distressed, and he was thinking, why this is happening? Why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not accepting? At that point, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Balagandi during the Rath Yatra, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told him, "This is the moment. Give up your royal clothes, take up Vaishnav clothes, and sit here in Jagannath Vallabh garden and sing the Gopi Geet for the pleasure of Lord." And he did that. And when he did that, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in ecstasy. He embraced Prataprudra Maharaj, whom he was rejecting again and again. And Lord Chaitanya looks at Prataprudra Maharaj and says, "Prabhu kahe ke tumi ko lila morahit, auchambityaasi piyao Krishna lilamrit." Who are you that who have come and giving me such nectar? I want to know your identity. At that time, Prataprudra Maharaj, he says, "Raja kahe ame tumar, dase ranu das, bhrit yera bhritya karo ei mora ash." My dear Lord, I am the servant of your servant. I have no other aspiration apart from being your servant. So when we come into the study of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we go deep into the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Srimad Bhagavatam is only sharing with us the main formula of how we can become the servant of the servant in the association of devotees. So that's the first principle we gain. The Srimad Bhagavatam gives us access to the association of devotees. We attain association of devotees. Second thing we attain through the Srimad Bhagavatam is taste in the practice of bhakti. Shrinavata shraddhaya nityam ganadascha swateshchitam kalena na ati dirghena bhagavan bhushate hridi. Parikshit Maharaj says, as I am hearing this Srimad Bhagavatam from you, O dear Shukadev Goswami, shraddhaya, with faith, nityam, regularly, granatascha, I am trying to receive this, swacheshtitam, putting my effort, kalena na ati dirghena, in a very short time, what I am experiencing is Bhagavan, Lord Krishna, Vishate, is entering Hridi, into my heart. And as a result, I am experiencing the presence of Krishna. It is giving me this taste of connecting with Krishna, the flavor, the sweet flavor of Krishna. Tatra kirtayartor viprer bhurisha vipratejasaha aham cha adhyagamam nitya nimishtas tat anugrahat. How to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam? Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport to this verse that when we hear the Srimad Bhagavatam, purification happens. As a result of that purification, our senses are purified. When senses are purified, the mind is purified. When the mind is purified, we are able to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam with rapt attention. And so Parikshit, at the beginning of the 10th canto, which happens towards the end of the 3.5 days, 9 cantos end at 3.5 days, and the remaining 3.5 days is the remaining 10th, 11th and 12th canto, because first 9 cantos of the Bhagavatam have 9,000 verses, 10th, 11th and 12th canto have 9,000 verses. So Parikshit, at the very beginning of the 10th canto says, Naishati dussaha kshunman tyaktodam api badhate pibantam mudbukam bojam chutam harikathamritam. My dear Lord, yes, I was thirsty when I was angry and then I put that snake around Shamik Rishi's neck. Now I am without water for 3.5 days. I do not have any sleep for 3.5 days. But na esha ati duh saha kshun mam, the hunger which is very difficult to tolerate. Tyaktodam api badhate, I have also given up water. These are major obstacles, hunger and thirst. But why I am able to tolerate? Pebantam twan mukham bhojam, from your lotus-like lips, I am receiving drops of nectar. Chutam harikathamritam, the nectar of Krishna Katha, of the Srimad Bhagavat. Shrunashva avahito rajan api guhyam badamite, bruyusnigdasya shishyasya guravo guhyam apyuta. Parikshit Maharaj says, I am getting nourished by hearing this Srimad Bhagavatam. Shrunashva, by hearing this avahito, as Shukdev Goswami is telling, you are hearing this Bhagavatam with rapt attention. Api guhyam badamite, and seeing your attentiveness, I feel inspired to speak the Bhagavatam to you. And therefore this Srimad Bhagavatam has to be heard with rapt attention and with great attentiveness, great desire to transform our heart and transform our consciousness. Because sometimes one may feel, if I spend time studying the Bhagavatam, I may lose materially. I may lose on my job. I may lose on my education. I may lose on this. I may lose on that. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. So by spending time in studying the Bhagavatam, hearing the Bhagavatam, you are not losing anything. You will only gain Krishna Katha, you will only gain taste in the process, and you may also gain materially. We had one student in medical college. Day and night he was preaching. I would get worried and I would tell him, why don't you spend time studying also? Because you are going to be a doctor. It's going to be dangerous if you are not properly trained. He says, no, I just have full faith in you, Prabhu. I said, what is the connection with your study? He said, no, you have only said, Name Bhakta Pranashyati. My devotee will never perish from the Bhagavad Gita. So I have faith. Whatever happens, I just have to dedicate myself to the Bhagavad Dharma Prachar. Krishna will take care. I said, you will fail and put blame on me. Please, you study with that, don't worry. I have full faith in your words, in Krishna's words. One day before exam, he was standing in front of the deities and praying for half an hour. I got worried. That next day's exam, and this guy is standing here praying and praying. So I approached him and said, what are you praying? And he said, I am telling Radha Gopinath ji that, my dear Lord, the whole campus knows that I am Hare Krishna devotee. The whole campus knows I am the preacher of Hare Krishna. I represent the Hare Krishna. I am telling the Lordships, the future of the Hare Krishna movement in the campus is in your hands. Because if I fail, people will lose faith. Therefore, it is his responsibility. I said, that's a very strange bargain. And so next day, the exam started. He wrote the exam. 2 months later, the results came. He passed. It was a big miracle. On the day of the exam, the day the results came, I went to the hostel for the lecture. 50 people were sitting in the room for my lecture. Usual crowd was 6 to 7 people for my lecture and 45-50 for prasad. And sometimes students would open the door in the middle of the lecture and look at me and say, lecture not yet over or what? They consider me an obstacle between them and prasad. So when I saw 50 people, I got bewildered. I thought I've come to the wrong room. I asked, how come so many of you have come? And they looked at me and said, taking the name of that devotee and pointing to him, this guy was preaching day and night. He was only studying the Gita and the Bhagavatam and chanting the holy names. We hardly saw him study. In spite of that, he has passed this exam in first class, means Krishna has to be Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I told this devotee who got admission in post-graduation that somehow in undergrad you passed, putting too much of load on Krishna. At least in postgraduate you study yourself properly. So he took my word seriously, he studied well. In post-graduation he got gold medal in Mumbai University. So when a devotee sincerely studies the scriptures, Krishna gives him the intelligence from within on what to do and what not to do. And many devotees have shared this experience that typically what they could not have processed as a decision using their material intelligence, because of the power of the Srimad Bhagavatam, they get the power to make the right choices. And therefore, Tavattvamiva Sishuni Nama Sankirtan. When Thakur Haridas sees this prostitute and she's trying to attract him, and he tells her, you just sit here and hear the chanting of the holy name. And when you do that, Tulasi Sevan Kare, Charvan Upavas, Indriya Damana Hoila Premera Prakash. As a result of that, she started serving the Tulasi. Her senses came under control and she became inundated with love. Prasiddha Vaishnavi Hoila Parama Mohanti, Bada Bada Vaishnav Tare Darshana Hoite Yanti. And she became a very powerful and famous Vaishnavi, and to take her darshan, biggest acharyas would come. That's the effect and the result of coming in close contact with a person Bhagavata and hearing their sadhana. So Thakur Haridas just exposed her to the chanting of his holy name, and automatically all that transformation happened. So therefore, when we take to the process of studying the Srimad Bhagavatam, we not only get the association of devotees, in that association we develop a taste for the process of bhakti. And therefore, that principle is very important, which is described here. And so Srila Prabhupada would tell us, go out and distribute this Gita and the Bhagavat. Why? So that people can get access to this process. I was distributing, the Gita in the local trains in Mumbai. Someone suddenly, asked me in a very skeptic tone, you guys are distributing Gita for so many years. I have seen that. How many Vivekanandas you have given birth to? I said, we are brahmacharis, we don't give birth to anybody. But the point is, we are making our effort to help you understand what are the principles of Bhagavad Dharma. So that is the second principle, taste. Third thing we attain in the association of the Srimad Bhagavatam is seva, service. And this seva is very, very powerful. Sarvaloka Sharanyaya Raghavaya Mahatmane Nivedayadamam Kshipram Vibhishanam Upashtitam. Vibhishan was always pious. Ravana was always sinful. Ravan was personification of Papa. Vibhishan was personification of Punya. One of the biggest obstacles which prevents Lord Ram from entering Lanka is the deadly collaboration between Papa and Punya. When Papa and Punya collaborate, shake hands and agree that we will allow each other to coexist, that's when Sharanagati becomes difficult, challenging, becomes an obstacle for Sharanagati. Why? Ravana, as a papi, would look at Vibhishan and tell him, I will allow you to continue to perform your punya. Vibhishan, as a person with punya, would look at Ravana doing all kinds of papa and decide, the papi is allowing me to perform my punya, better to keep my mouth shut. Let me continue what I am doing and let him do what he wants to do, as long as he is allowing me to do what I can do. So therefore, Vibhishan, as the personification of punya, would not speak up against Ravana, the personification of Papa. Punya gets the power to stand up and challenge Papa, speak up against Papa and question Papa only when there is Sangha of Vaishnava, of a Bhagavat. When Hanumanji enters Lanka, by the Sangha, by the association of Hanumanji, Vibhishan gets the power to question Ravana's activities. And Vibhishan became true to his name. Vibhishan means one who causes terror. The one who causes terror to Ravana by speaking up and questioning his choices. And finally, Ravana throws Vibhishan out and Vibhishan decides to quit Lanka, and he goes and takes shelter of Lord Ram, surrounded by his 4 associates. The 4 associates represent the 4 limbs of Sharanagati. What are the 4 limbs of Sharanagati? The 4 limbs of Sharanagati are, first, that Lord Ram is all powerful. Second, that I have absolutely no qualification. Akinchanatvam, I have no possession. Ananyagatitvam, I have no other destination. Saralta, Lord Ram is so simple, he will accept anyone as his servant. Shakti, Lord Ram is powerful, he can give shelter to anybody. With these 4 limbs of Sharanagati, Vibhishan took shelter of Lord Rama. And therefore, it is only by the Sangha of the Bhagavata that the power to stand up against sin, to stand up against Papa, to break the collusion, to break the collaboration, to break that intimate network between Papa and Punya manifest. That is what makes the Hare Krishna movement so special, because here we get the association of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which helps us understand and separate truth from illusion with clarity for the first time. Otherwise, many of us have been visiting temples, many of us have been going to places. I myself come from a family, from my mother's side, we are priests of Lakshmi Narayan temple in Palaghat in Kerala. From my father's side, we are priests of Varadaraj Perumal temple in Palakkad in Kerala. So traditionally I am supposed to be temple priest. But I was busy in my own world, sense gratification in college campuses. But then the Bhagavatam came. And when the Bhagavatam came, then I realized that, this is truth. this is illusion, and then you are able to make the right choices. That's the impact the Bhagavatam makes in helping you make the right choices. And that's why people are also afraid of the Hare Krishna movement, because they know this is powerful. It gives people power to stand up and question the status quo. I was giving prasad to one, student, and the student was refusing to take prasad. I said, I have seen people refusing Gita. You're refusing prasad? What's your problem? He said, I'm afraid by taking this prasad, my hairstyle will become like yours. When students, they visit different temples, Shiva temple on Monday, Ganesh temple on Tuesday, our Hanumanji temple on Saturday, parents have no problem. But when they start visiting Hare Krishna temple, ISKCON temple every Sunday, they get worried. Why? Yad gatvana nivartante. By going there, you will not return back. The same way, the habits will change. The convictions will change. And that's what the Bhagavatam does. It provides us seva, real seva in the association of devotees. Vibhishan got the power to be engaged, to detach himself from service of Ravana in Lanka and came and took shelter of Lord. And so he says, Sarva Loka Sharanyaya, my dear Lord who gives shelter to the entire creation, Raghavaya Mahatmane, you are Lord Raghav, the great Mahatma, Nivedayatamam Kshipram. It is my prayer to you to please accept my shelter quickly. Kshipram, Vibhishanam upasthitam. Vibhishan is standing. Why does he say Kshipram? Quickly. Because the desire to surrender, the desire to offer seva manifests within the heart of a conditioned soul as a flickering flame after millions and millions of lifetimes. We cannot take that spark for granted. So he says that spark of desire to serve you has manifested. Before it is extinguished, please give your association, accept that so that it burns into a flame. Vibhishanam upasthitam. And so, Parikshit Maharaj also is offering this prayer. Tataschama pricham imam vipriche vishrabhya kritya iti krityatayam sarvatmana mahimanascha krityam. My dear Lord, all of the sages who have assembled here, I have only two questions for all of you. What is my duty at the time of death? What is my duty at every moment in my life? How can I be engaged in seva? So Maharaj Parikshit demonstrates the right attitude when he comes in contact with these sages of how to be engaged in seva. Vritrasur, the demon, he is fighting against Indra, who is a demigod. But what are Vritrasur's prayers? Aham harer tava padaika moola dasanudasa bhavitasmi bhuya. I only want to be the servant of the devotees. Because that is what I have heard from the Bhagavatas. Nanaka prishtam na chaparameshyam na sarvabhaumam na rasadipatyam. I do not want heavenly planets. I do not want mystic powers. I do not want any of these material opulences. Na yoga siddhir a punarbhavam va. I do not want perfection of mystic powers. I do not want liberation also. What do I want? Samanjasatva virahya kangshe, O source of all opportunities. My dear Lord Vishnu, you are the source of all opportunities. Please give me the opportunity to serve the Bhagavata devotees. And that is the desire of the great Vaishnavas when they come in the association of the Srimad Bhagavatam. In the early 70s, there was a time where the Hare Krishna movement was branded as involved in brainwashing. And there was a brainwashing case against the ISKCON in New York. And Srila Prabhupada instructed, the president came to Srila Prabhupada and said, well, how should we fight this case? Prabhupada told the president, you only fight the case. You only present our arguments that we are not a cult, we are actually a bona fide religion. We are having the tradition of books from thousands of years. And you bring the Srimad Bhagavatam, my books, whatever cantos have been published to the court. And this president was bewildered, said, I bring your Bhagavatam to the court? Prabhupada said, yes. And then he said, what do I do? Prabhupada said, you present evidence from the Bhagavatam. First canto, first chapter, first verse, speak from it. Second day, speak from second verse. Third day, speak from third verse. Fourth day, speak from the fourth verse. Convert the court case into Bhagavatam class. And the devotee also followed. After a week, the judge asked, how much evidence you have? And the devotee said, we have 18,000 verses. This is an ancient tradition. This is not a cult. And so this judge could understand that, okay, you're connected to some ancient tradition. So he called up his friend who was a professor in Harvard Divinity School. And the judge asked, what do you think about this Hare Krishna? This book is all very confusing. It's going to take a long time for me to decide. But, you are a divinity professor, so you must be knowing. And the library team of the traveling Sankirtan had delivered to Harvard Prabhupada's set of books, including the Bhagavatam. And this professor had gone through that. And immediately he told this judge, oh, the Hare Krishnas, they are not a cult. They are a bona fide religion. They are connected to an ancient tradition. So they are not at all a cult. And the judge immediately got what he wanted. And then he came to the court and he said, I've heard enough evidence and I'm coming to the conclusion that the Hare Krishna is not a cult, they are a bona fide religion. And this was published in all the newspapers. And if you read Giriraj Maharaj's book, I shall build you a temple, or I will build you a temple. In that particular newspaper clipping is also there, where the court verdict is declared in favor of the Hare Krishna movement. So therefore, when the Srimad Bhagavatam is brought in front, then gradually devotional service and protection of that devotional service also follows. Chaitanya Lila Ratnasar Swarupera Bhandar Teho Thuila Raguna Tera Kanthe Taha Kichu Jay Shunilu Taha Iha Bistarilu Bhakta Gana Dilu Ei Bhete. Kaviraj Goswami says, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was personification of Bhagavatam. His activities were seen by Swarup Damodar Goswami. Swarup Damodar Goswami spoke that to Raghunath Das Goswami. Now Raghunath Das Goswami spoke on the bank of Radha Kund. I was fortunate to be in the assembly of Vaishnavas who heard Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes from Das Goswami. And hence, I want to give as a gift to this Vaishnava Sangha, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Bhaktagana dilu ei bhete. This gift of the Lord's activities personifying a person Bhagavata is the greatest gift we can give, where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing, demonstrating personally how to become a servant to the devotees, how to become the servant of the servant. And the fourth thing which we attain in the association of devotees is purity in our intention. Brahmaji, in his prayers, he mentions this beautiful prayer. When we come in front of the deities and we are wondering what should we pray, And we think that I am coming for deities darshan, but no. The deities are actually looking at us, glancing upon us. And two things happen when we offer prayers in front of the deities. Chandrika vishidas mere sa aruna apanga vikshatai swakarthanam ivaraja sattvabhyam srishtripalaka. The Bhagavatam is teaching us how to develop purity in our intention. When we receive Krishna's glance, when the deities glance upon us, what's the first impact? The desire to offer seva manifests. We start the seva, and then challenges in the seva come. When challenges manifest in the seva, what happens? We become discouraged. We want to give up. And in such a situation, we should look upon the smile of the deities. The smile of the deities offers us encouragement. Do not become distressed. Do not become discouraged. Do not become depressed. Do not feel defeated. Continue with dedication and determination. I am there with you. Swakarthanam ivarajas sattvabhyam srishtripalaka. Therefore, if we are going through a bad day, connect with the Bhagavatam, and when you come across these verses, you will get the conviction that yes, this is how I must practice my bhakti, this is how I must respond and reciprocate with the devotees and with the deities, and that gives us strength to carry on in our devotional service. So therefore Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Tomar sevaya dukha hoye yata seto parama sukha seva sukha dukha parama sampada nashaye avidya dukha. In your devotional service, my dear Lord, there may be obstacles, there may be challenges, there may be difficulties, but those become the cause of my greatest pleasure. And seva sukha dukha parama sampada, that is my greatest sampati. Nashaye avidya dukkha. It destroys the avidya within. And therefore, we have to continue on in devotional service to the degree there is purity in our intention, to the extent there is stability in our identity, to that extent there is consistency in our activity, in our devotional activity. And therefore, the three most important things the Bhagavatam teaches us is intensity in our sadhana, consistency in our seva, and sensitivity in our dealings with the devotees. If we follow all of these three, automatically the path to devotional service continues. So I'll conclude by sharing one very interesting story. When I was traveling to Kolkata airport for a program in IIT Kharagpur, I had two friends from America with me. We landed at Kolkata. When we landed, we were told that that day is Bengal Bandh. So Bengal Bandh means nothing moves. Vehicle cannot move. So when I came out, we were welcomed with garlands, and I told the organizers, so today is Bengal Bandh, so program must be cancelled. They said, no, program is on. I said, how can program be on Bengal Bandh? They said, we have come to pick you up in ambulance. So when we started entering into the ambulance, my two American friends asked me, why are we going in ambulance? I said, good question, but difficult answer, because I have to spend half an hour explaining what is bandh. So better you sit behind, I'll sit in front. There may be people who may come and throw stones, but we are in the right vehicle, ambulance. They sat behind, we went ahead, some people came and stopped us, and they said, we want to see who's behind. I said, go and check. So they went and looked inside, behind, and my two American friends with garlands around their neck after taking breakfast were sleeping peacefully. They looked inside and said, may their soul rest in peace. And within 3 hours we reached Kharagpur. So many times when there are obstacles, we get stuck and we start analyzing too much, and we go through paralysis by analysis. So the Bhagavatam helps us break that cycle. When we see in the Srimad Bhagavatam personalities who are much more powerful than us, experiencing obstacles and challenges much more intense than what we are going through, we get the hope that let me continue with a pure intention, and Krishna will make sure that all of my spiritual desires are fulfilled and the obstacles are removed. So these are the 4 things I wanted to share today. Of course, there are 4 other things which Bhagavatam helps us avoid, but we'll keep that for some other time. So what are the 4 things which the Bhagavatam helps us attain? First is association. Second is taste. Third is service. And the 4th is purity in our intention. So thank you all very much for giving me an opportunity to share. Thank you, Maharaj.